Holy Habits is an adventure in Christian discipleship that takes people on a journey through Luke's cameo portrait of the very first Christian community that we see in Acts chapter 2 and verses 42 to 47. The Holy Habits resources have been developed to help people explore this way of living. There is a series of 11 habit booklets, an introductory guide, and then a booklet for each of the 10 habits that Luke presents in Acts chapter 2, 42 to 47. We encourage people to explore these habits creatively and imaginatively and enthusiastically. I think the most important place to start if you're considering doing Holy Habits is to be sure that you and your church see this integral to who you are, what you're being called to be and do, and to your appropriate strategies. That was a big piece of learning from the development of the resources initially in the Birmingham Methodist circuit. This wasn't an esoteric extra, it was absolutely central to what they felt called to be and to do. And I think that links in with the opening phrase that Luke uses in Acts 2:42, they devoted themselves to. If this is seen just as a bit of fun, then it will be some fun, but it might not be particularly fruitful. If it's at the heart of who you are being called to be and do, then I think all things are possible. To bring people on board who might be sceptical, I would encourage people to reflect on the analysis of the text. So the quotes by people like Barrett and Dunn, who argue that this is fundamental to enthusiastic spiritual renewal, because actually who wouldn't be up for a bit of enthusiastic spiritual renewal? So to explain to people that this has been a fruitful practice, both in the life of the early church, in the church throughout the centuries, and today, I think will encourage people to take the plunge and dive in and get involved. When it comes to the individual habit, it's important that people take some time to reflect upon that, upon their biblical background, upon how they can be applied to the whole of life. One of the important things about the habits is they're not just about what we do when we gather for an hour on a Sunday morning or a Thursday evening or whenever it is. These are habits to be lived in the whole of life. So encouraging people to reflect on their application in every part of their discipleship every day is a really important part of making this work well. In terms of the practicalities of using the resources and forming a Holy Habits program, our experience so far suggests it's important to form some teams, and the recommendation is there be a small team to be available to encourage and resource each habit. It's important to take good time to plan and prepare for this. In the various pilots we've done, including the first one in Birmingham, they've allowed themselves at least 6 months of preparation time, thinking how this integrates with other things you're doing in the life of your church, so it doesn't become an encumbrance, but actually fits well with other things you're doing seasonally or for other reasons as well. So good planning, good preparation, plenty of prayer, and as I say, reflecting both on the origins of the habits and how they can be applied in every aspect of life. The nuts and bolts of this process are important as well. So things like budgeting are important. Again, think of that Lucan phrase, they devoted themselves to. And again, the early pilots were notable for being willing to invest significantly in this, in terms of budget, in terms of people's time, volunteer time, staff time, and so on. So actually doing this well is important too. Before you launch out on your Holy Habits program, you might want to have done some reading around discipleship, because if this is about forming disciples, you need to be clear just what it is you're seeking to form. So the complementary book Holy Habits could be helpful, and there are a range of other good books that could help you with that. So take time to think through exactly what it is you're seeking to form and to grow by way of whole life fruitful disciples. Make sure that you do have the commitment of everybody to participate in that. Plan a good launch event. Wherever this has gone well, they've begun with a big, large, enthusiastic event to give it energy. And then have your Holy Habits teams in places. Those groups of people may just be 6 to 8 people. Make sure there's a variety of people in there, younger people, older people, different giftings, who can just accompany and help people as they explore the habits. If they get a bit stuck for ideas on what they might do, those people will be available to help them. One last message I would say is enjoy this. If this is about a godly, spirit-filled way of living, if this is a way we might see enthusiastic spiritual renewal, then enjoy it. I love the fact that the word enthusiastic, our English word, comes from 2 Greek words, entheos, in God. So let God be at the heart of all this. Let this be centered on Jesus. Let this be spirit-filled, and then see where the adventure takes you.